I would like to thank your organization, Rajagiri Media, for inviting me, and also extend my warm greetings to all the participants who are here with us in this evening. Shall we go to the PPTs so that we can start? Right. This is the outline of my presentation. Let us start with the basic difference between work group and teams. Then I would like to give my own perspective on multidisciplinary teams because not many books have written about multidisciplinary teams. So they take the concept for granted. We have been hearing about cross-functional teams, but multidisciplinary teams, and nothing much has been written. So this is my own reflection I'm going to share with you. Then I'm going to talk about the discovering the power of self, that is individual and teams, because there can't be any team without individuals. In that context, I would like to focus on two very important aspects. One is team learning and the other one is team intelligence, which are very, very vital for building multidisciplinary team. And finally, I would like to focus on the role of teachers as leaders, because as you rightly said, the school management largely depends on the educators, starting from the principal to the teachers to even the staff who are working there. They are also educators in a way because they are part of the entire learning and education system. And therefore, I would like to focus mostly on the role of teachers because their role is very, very critical. Then, of course, I will end with a short story. Can you go to the next slide? In fact, I like the term Palli Kudam, I suppose that is the school, right? In Malayalam, Kutam means it's a group, is it?
Yes, sir. It means a
Yeah.
school.
Okay, Palli Kudam. Okay, all right. Just to tell you what is a team, it is nothing new, but this is one of the most popular explanations of team. That is together, everyone achieves more. The key word here is, achieving more. That's exactly I'm going to cover in my talk. Just a minute. Sorry, I need to, yeah. Can you go to the next slide? Um, I just want to tell you the difference between first the group and the team. You can see group is a collection of two or more interacting individuals who maintain stable patterns of relationship, share common goals, and perceive themselves as being a group. Whereas in a team, the differentiating factors are they have a complementary skills and are committed to a common purpose or set of performance goals for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. So the complementary skills and committed to a common purpose or a set of performance and holding themselves accountable. Can you go to the next slide? Next slide. You can skip this slide. Um, yeah, this slide I wanted. There are four factors we need to consider if you want to know the difference between work groups and work teams. The first one is goal, because group also has a goal. Work teams also, they also have a goal. In the case of work groups, the goal is just a shared information. They share the information. Whereas in the case of work teams, it is not just sharing information, it is a collective performance. Again, I underline the word performance. The second factor is the common factor is synergy. Synergy means, 2 plus 2 is not 4. It is more than 4. It can be 6, it can be 8, it can be 10. In the case of work groups, it can be neutral and sometimes it can be negative also in groups. If you look at the group think behavior and some of the group dynamic that happens in our day-to-day life. So it can be neutral or negative. But in the case of work teams, the synergy is always positive. And the third common factor is accountability. In work groups, okay, this is because of me, we have achieved this. That's what we would say. But in the case of work teams, it is individual and mutual. Then in the case of the fourth common factor is skills. In the case of work groups, it is random or varied. But in the case of work teams, it is always complementary. I would like to repeat collective performance, the positive attitude, and individual and mutual accountability, and of course, complementary skills. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah, this is what there is one slide we skipped. Can you go to the previous one? I just want to make a reference to that, not this. Previous, yeah, this one. This is, sorry, yeah. Some of you must be knowing, but just I want to tell you that, how these are the various stages through which group development or team development takes place. One is the pre-stage, wherein we are all just individuals, separate individuals. And the first one is the farming stage, then the storming. Storming is the one, whether we begin to look at the roles and responsibility, there will be disagreements. Then comes the norming stage. Norming means like we come on a particular, agreement to say, yeah, we all will work together to achieve this. Then you begin to perform. Then, of course, you can also adjourn at the later stage. But I don't think in the case of schools that is required. Okay, come to the next slide. The perspectives. This is just to tell you, look, nobody is an individual. From our creation, the day when we were conceived in our mother's tomb, we were always connected to our mother. So life starts with that connection. So therefore, we need to keep that in mind. Go to the next slide. You look at we as an individual, there is so much of, multi-disciplinary team function, even as an individual. If you just look at the role of each and every body, the anatomy of it, I don't do text, just to help you understand, you and I are created to perform as a member of a team, because we ourselves are a team in ourselves, by ourselves. Next one. Now you look at a family. This again, there is always a team. Next, you look at a school, a teacher and the students. There is always a team, right? Next, you look at our, organization, school as an organization. I just want to tell you one important factor. Please remember, we are all, particularly the professionals, we are all organizational beings. In the sense, out of, let us say, if you work for 60 years in an organization at from the age of, say, 25 to 60, so that's about 35 years. In those 35 years, the most productive time, that is the prime time during the daytime, that is 8 hours, we spend in the organization. And sometimes, not sometimes, always, you and I, we don't choose our colleagues. That is part of our life. Therefore, when you and I come together every day, 6 to 8 hours, working with the same individual, how do we look at our life? So it is there, it is a team spirit that can make our life more joyful and productive. So I just want you to remember that. Yes, go to the next slide. Is the next, yeah, next slide. No, what is happening? Yeah, you look at now multi in a school context. There are so many subjects we teach in a school, mathematics to art and science, English. That is one way of, multidisciplinary team. That is one way of forming a multidisciplinary team. Go to the next slide. You look at mathematics as a subject. There again you have branches of mathematics. So every teacher who specializes in any one of these branches, they all can also form a team. It is not just one teacher, who teaches mathematics. This is another way of looking at the multidisciplinary team. Go to the next slide. You look at now the school education system. We have the preparatory school, the primary, then middle school, the secondary, higher secondary, then we have the administration, the management. But then if you look at primary, section alone, there again you have so many teams: English, art, science, physical education, mathematics, etc. So what I'm trying to say is when you want to look at multidisciplinary team in a school context, you can form various kinds of multidisciplinary team. That is the opportunity that we have in our school education system. Go to the next slide. Now I'm coming to the the next part of my talk, that is team learning and team intelligence. So I would like Nicey to play this video. I want all of you to watch carefully. Jinsi, can you fast forward? Let us go towards the end. No, 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 just before that. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, back, go back. Yeah, just stay. All right, we can stop it. Uh, this is the World Cup final between Argentina and France, and the penalty shootout. Finally, Argentina won. And if you watch the match, of course, in the presentation, it was not very clear. To tell you that, what can a team do, and the role of the team um, is always, and every team has a greater expectation, and every team has to perform till the end. In this case, if you notice that um, every individual is specialized in a particular role, but then that particular player becomes a star only in the context of a team. If the team is not there, he or she has no place. Therefore, in our school system, you and I can be a star teacher in a team where we work as a team in a particular department. I just want you to remember that. So having said that, let us look at, there are two concepts. One is a team learning. There is a famous author by name Peter Senge. He says, team learning is the process of aligning and developing capacity of your team to create the results its members truly desire. So therefore, the question is like when we work as a team in a school, do we all as a team member, let us say, the teachers of primary school or a middle school, right? Do we have a common goal to achieve and say, okay, this is the result that we want to really, really achieve? Very often we expect the principals or the headmasters or the headmistress to tell us the target. In that way, you can never build a team, my dear friends, because it has to come from within. And as we have seen in the football match, ultimately when it comes to um, performance, rising to the occasion, it is the individuals, but keeping the goal of the country or a goal of the team in mind. So that is what is very, very important. For that, you and I ought to be people who are constantly learning, not only learning from our success stories, but also from our mistakes. Unfortunately, whatever interactions I have been having with a lot of the number of teachers across the country, we do not have time for ourselves. We are given tight schedule, morning till evening. The class schedules are given, and you can't have anything more than that. I think now the time has come that even the management has to, if you really, really want to look at management of a school very seriously, how do you look at the team? How many teams you have, and what do you invest in building the team? So for that, you make sure you create a learning environment or ecosystem for them to learn constantly. Go to the next one. This is another concept. If you look at the picture in blue, if I ask you, you wouldn't be able to say. Actually, that is a colony of jellyfish. This is very clear. The ants. Uh, you know, if you look at the football match at the end, did you see how they were huddling? What they call hugging each other. You know, that is the spirit. That is called team intelligence. Can you go to the next slide? Maybe the next slide. Yeah. In the case of jellyfish or ants, dolphins, etc., um, they function by providing timely information to the team members and then allowing and expecting them to take the appropriate action. Sometimes I wonder when we work as team members, do we really give, information to our colleagues? Hey, come on, this is what is happening, or this is what is going to happen. Can we come together and discuss and see how differently we can do? Go to the next slide. I just want to read the last two lines. One is, team intelligence is the nervous system of the team. And number two, it is necessary for our survival and success. If you look at every, game, be it a cricket or a football, before the game begins, they all come together. You might have noticed that. If I, yeah, I do a lot of, classes for my students on how the people who go to astronauts are trained, or how the Marines, those who fight in the war, how they are trained. They have to sleep together, eat together, even brushing the teeth together, to say like how close he became. I'm not saying that in the school we need to be doing that, but then we need to look at the factors that can always bring us together, connecting us together. Only then we will be able to succeed. So that is what is called team intelligence, how close we are, how closely we are working with one another. Go to the next slide. Now let us come to the school management. We have the principal or the headmistress or headmaster, teachers, accounts, finance officer, non-teaching staff, parent teachers association, and so many other stakeholders, including your suppliers who supply books, uniforms, transport services, etc. But then, if you really want to look at the school management, we need to look at the vision and mission of our school. I have just picked up the vision mission of one of the schools, which I know very, very well. I will not name the school. Can you go to the next slide? The vision, I'm just only highlighting the keyword: professionally competent citizens. They want every student studying in that school should become professionally competent citizens. Their mission, they have two sets of mission. One is to inculcate in our students the values of being a good human being, love, concern for others, etc. And the second part of the mission is to promote in our students academic excellence and leadership skills. If you look at these two sets of statements, a few words stand out. One is competency, excellence, leadership, values. So therefore, what can we use to build a strong multidisciplinary tools, team for our school management? Go to the next slide. Therefore, the purpose of school management is like, this is based on my own reflection and the experiences that I have been having interacting with the various schools. uh, Promote values, build professional competency, promote academic excellence, and build leadership skills. If you put all these, four words together, if we can summarize them into one word, two words: superior performance. Ultimately, the purpose of school management is to display high degree of performance. Now, that is the job not of the students. It is a job of all the teachers, principals, everybody. So only then you can look at the power of teams. Otherwise, you will not be able to build a strong team. Therefore, teachers have a major stake in school management. For this, they need to work in multidisciplinary teams. Go to the next slide. And how do we, enable teachers to play that role, to be part of a multidisciplinary team for school management? I think we are not able to look at the teachers as leaders. Very often in organizations, especially in school management, it is always the principals or the people at the top management are perceived to be leaders. I think there is a fundamental problem in that way of looking at our school management, because now the word management has changed so much. Now we all talk about shared leadership, servant leadership. So how do we do that? So I'm going to give you two simple framework, which is easy for all of us to understand. Like if you look at who is a leader, anytime you seek to influence the thinking, behavior, or development of people toward accomplishing a goal in their personal or professional life, you are taking the role of a leader. People will ask, oh, teach leaders are made or leaders are born. These concepts are no more relevant now. According to these authors, that is uh, Ken Blanchot and Phil Hodges, they said, okay, every person is a leader. Even a child is a leader. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. how our children take the, play the role of leader. So these two authors summarize leadership into two simple terms. One is we all play life role leadership. Other one is organization leadership. Can you go to the next slide? Now, life role leadership, functions in enduring relations as parents, spouse, sibling, friend, citizen, etc. I don't want to read everything else. To say that when we look at teachers as leaders for building a strong multidisciplinary team for school management, first and foremost, we need to help them discover the inherent leadership in them, because every person is a leader by birth, by nature. That is the role they play. They play enormous amount of leadership roles. That is the first aspect we need to help them rediscover or discover and build on that. Next one. Next slide. Organization leadership. This is based on the position you hold. Okay, I am a teacher of teacher in charge of primary school or a secondary school. That is the position. Or I teach mathematics or science or arts or English, whatever. But then you cannot play organizational role without knowing the power of the life role that you play. I think this is the fundamental, concept all of us need to appreciate and understand that and take it forward. Only then, my dear friends, you will be able to build a strong team. Because if we don't look at people as leaders, we can never build them as, we can never build the teams. And if they don't become a strong team members, we will not be able to manage our school better. Again, I repeat, the key word is superior performance ultimately. Yeah, come to the next one. So how do we look at creating or life role and organizational leadership? This is a very simple format or the framework given by the same two authors. In fact, they wrote a very popular book called Lead Like Jesus. As a teacher who has been teaching leadership and team building for so many years and also practicing, I found this book to be one of the most inspiring books, and it is very simple. So every person as a leader, we need to look at this 4H model. The first is the heart, the second is the head, third is the hand, and the fourth is the habit. I did not want to get into all leadership theories. Okay. Now it is very simple. What is the heart element? It is the, your motivation. What motivates you? It is the self-interest or benefit of those whom you are leading or serving. I think for us as teachers or for all of us working in any education institution, we are all first and foremost servants. So that should be the heart dimension. Our heart should be filled with that very spirit of serving. The second one is the head, which examines your beliefs and theories about leading and motivating people. Sometimes why this is uh, right. I'm not able to see the complete slide. My picture is blocking me. Okay, right. The head dimension is in our belief system. We think that, okay, I am a great science teacher, therefore I am the best teacher. If you have that belief system, you will not be able to lead others, right? So the head, what goes on in our head is also very important to look at our own leadership style. Next slide, please. Yeah, the third H is the hand, which is nothing but performance, is performance coach. I cannot lead others if I don't demonstrate. So if I want to be a great mathematics teacher, I need to display that quality in me. Only then I can tell my other colleagues to be a great mathematician. I need to demonstrate, perform, and show. That is the third diamond. And the fourth one is the habit. Once you have decided to become a leader and be a part of a team member, to achieve a common goal, a greater goal, you need to renew your commitment daily. That is what this 4H model of leadership is all about. Let us look at one more model. This is called Level 5 Leadership by Jim Collins. It's one of the most popular, leadership theories we teach our management students. I purposely pick it up mainly because of the level 1, highly capable and competent individuals. I think that is the bottom line. If you want to build great multidisciplinary teams, every member has to be a competent. If you look at the football team of Argentina or our own cricket team, they are all tested people. Only then they are allowed to be part of the team. So therefore, each and every teacher who is member of a team has to know, am I highly capable? What is that? Who makes productive contributions through talent, knowledge, skills, and good work habits. I think I would like to underline the word work habit. Sometimes, we live in a world where it's a fast world. You and I spend 2 hours every day up and down, or some people even spend 4 hours just to commute from home to office and come back. By the time you reach your office, you're so very tired. So how do you expect, good work habits? So you just go and complete the syllabus and get out of it. That is what happens in most of the schools, which is very unfortunate. So how do we look at that? That is where the management also has a greater role to play. How do we help people to, exploit their potential? The second one is contributing to team. If I'm a great mathematics teacher and if I'm not able to work well, get along well with my colleagues, my greatness has no meaning. So that is a second level. How do I contribute to um, the team, building a team? And the third one is competent manager, basically, who organizes the resources towards the achievement of the school. Even as a mathematics teacher, like, you are the leader of, let us say, primary school, but your primary role is a mathematics teacher, but you are the leader of a particular team in the primary school. So how do you play the management role? Basically, mobilizing resources which are necessary to achieve the goal. Then comes effective leader who catalyzes commitment to and vigorous pursuit of a clear and compelling vision, stimulating higher performance standards. I think very often we look up to the principles. Oh, father will or the sister will give the target. For this year, our plus two results should be more than 100%. Oh, sorry, 100%. Every child in plus two should score 95 percentage. Let us say that is the. But then, how do you help the teachers to go there? There is a promised land. So how do you reach there? That is the role of a leader. Therefore, even teachers as leaders, we need to give that level of compelling vision to every student, every member of our team. Only then we can be leaders. And finally, the executive, this of course may be related to the principals and others, or the chairman of your school or a board, whatever. But if you look at the great, leaders in the organization or even the government, they are the people with enormous amount of humility, what you call the servant leadership. Come to the next slide. Yes. I think I'm almost coming to the end of my talk. We have been talking about competency. I'm sure some of you might have seen this iceberg model of competency. If you look at this model, this is an iceberg. What we see on top is the smallest part of it. But what is hidden beneath the water is the huge one, right? And according to this, they are the ones which are very hard to change. Your self-image, your motives, your traits, your social role. But what is visible is your knowledge and skills. That is easy. So according to this model, what is on top is easier to change. Okay. I was talking about, you and I can change the harder part of our life, provided we have the learning orientation. Life is the greatest teacher. We learn from our mistakes and we also learn from our success stories. Yes, can you go to the next slide? All right. So I think there is one more slide. Can you show me? No, after that. Next. Yeah. After this, we'll come to the video. Okay. Right. High performing multidisciplinary teams, what do they have in common? Just to summarize, they produce results. Very simple. But the results, what? It is ordinary result or extraordinary result. And they feel invested. I think most of us, have our investments. Why do we invest? Because we want returns on investment. Therefore, if I am a great teacher, if I feel invested, I need to see what returns I'm going to get. And those returns need not be only in monetary terms. There are many other ways you can look at your investment. Enjoy doing a job. There are people who can't even smile. Okay. They know what they do. They don't play hide and seek. Okay. They take the bull by its horn. Therefore, they don't play hide and seek. They confront the issues which are before them, and finally they don't get into politicking. Just to tell you that these are very, very important characteristics of a strong multidisciplinary teams. And finally, you show me that video. I will end with that story. Yeah, this video. Some of you might have seen this. All right. So finally, I would like to say that please sow the seeds of hope so that we all may flourish. I would like to thank.
We have one question here.
Yeah.
How can a school ensure effective collaboration and communication among members of a multidisciplinary team?
Okay. Some of my answers may not be of, what you expect. Okay. Because I am a different teacher. Because I'm a different person. It's as simple as that. A long time back, I'm sure some of the fathers might have read a book by the author called John Powell. He was a Jesuit priest. The title of the book is, he had many series. One of the books is The Secret of Staying in Love. And he says the secret is nothing but communication, right? Collaboration, communication. We can talk on theories and strategies. So there is one part of it. But the question is, do I care for the other person? What is communication, by the way? It is the connection of hearts and heads and minds, right? So as long as, we see and feel, you know, a bit of a love, bit of a caring, concern for each other, I can tell you collaboration, communication will take place automatically. You look at, uh, the medical team operating on a, operation theater, right? Uh, there, their only, factor is look the concern for the patient. By all means, the patient should get well. The surgery should, be a successful one. So it is always the well-being of the other. It is that which connects people. So that is my simple answer. That's what I said, the heart dimension of leadership, am I motivated by self-interest or the interest of others? That's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Do we have any more questions?
It is very unfair to ask them to ask questions at this time. Yeah, maybe a couple of more if there are any.
Yeah. There's one more question. What are some examples of specific issues or challenges that a multidisciplinary team might address in a school, such as student behavior problems or special
Okay.
education needs?
Yeah. Please remember every child is so very different, right? But the question is, how do I, look at that child? That is what, let us say I have a specially challenged child. If I look at that child as, hopeless one, there is one way of looking at it. But if I can look at the child, oh, this child can also excel in some area, may not be the areas of the normal child or normal children. So when you shift your paradigm, your perspective, you will be able to address most of the problems. Unfortunately, we brand them, put them in a particular bracket. That is a flaw of our education system as such, right? And if you look at our national education policy, now it talks about inclusive education, and I'm sure most of our Catholic schools are, highly known for that. We don't, exclude a student because of, certain disability, right? So it is all about our perspective. And the second issue is like, between the teachers, the moment I see myself greater than you, the problem starts. I think that is where we need to be. The last part of the level 5 leadership is humility. I think you can experience that. If you are a humble person, everybody will adore you and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. I hope I'm not preaching.
No, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, we have one more question here.
Yes,
In
yeah.
what ways can the inclusion of parents or caregivers in multidisciplinary teams enhance the support and services provided to students?
It's a very interesting question and a very important question. If you look at the changing scenario, what is happening in the field of education, just the other day, I spoke to about 23 principals of a particular province, the Jesuit province, um, on the new education policy and the higher education, because we are all mostly into higher education, right? The schools I'm talking about. So I was looking at some of the literature to look at, how the world is going to be by 2050, the world of education, right? And you all know with artificial intelligence and machine learning, all I think I also saw one of your earlier talks was on that. Wherein that human touch is going to, diminish to a large extent, right? And therefore, inclusion of parents is very, very important because you are with a child only for 5 or 6 hours, but the child is with the parents for the rest of the time. So, how do you include the teachers as part of your management system itself? Now, that is very important. I think we need to have constant engagement. Of course, parents may not be free, but we need to find out a time where teachers and parents can be free. I think it is very, very important in today's world. I keep, telling most of the people who are in management of schools. And secondly, please also involve the students as part of the management system. You do it, I know, but uh, at what level, for what purpose you do, very often we include them to complete a task. Okay, there is a function, school function, or a celebration going to happen, or what you call Christmas Day or Republic Day. So for that, yes, we form a team of students and we include them. I'm not talking about that is necessary. I'm not saying it is not necessary. But then you need to look at, for example, what are the concerns of the students today? Loneliness. Okay, because most of the parents are stopping with either two children or a single child, right? And the parents have no time, especially the working professionals. So loneliness is a very, very important factor. So how do you address that? How do you create a system in the classroom itself? All the children, they begin to share, they begin to care. It is not difficult, it is possible, provided we have the will to do. Yeah, that's a very important question. And the studies, I mean, the reports are saying by 2050, there will not be any schools. Everything will be online. Okay, satellite communications, all the whatever communication you name, that is what going to kill. Like our friend Elon Musk, he's already started a school for his children and the children of the workers in his factory. He says, I don't believe in the other system. Right? So, and then once that is picked up by other schools, then I think our Catholic schools, we might lose our business if you are not, willing to align with the changing times. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
sir, for that. Do we have any more questions? So, but there's one more question here.
yeah, please.
Are there any obstacles that schools commonly face when implementing multidisciplinary teams, and what strategies can be used to overcome them?
You see, it is the change in the culture of the school. Now we are talking about, multidisciplinary teams, right? But we need to ask one question. Uh, Let us say 10 years before, did we have multidisciplinary team or not? Okay, we need to ask that question. If yes, who were there? What was the size of, the team, the composition of the team? What did they do? We need to go back to the history of our own schools, to look at that. And then you come to, the currently, you are asking about the obstacles, right? Again, I repeat, it is basically the time management. That is the greatest challenge for the principals, for the students, for the teachers, parents, and all of us, time management. And you all know, time is the only factor God has given equality to everybody. There is no inequality, there is no disparity, there is no discrimination, right? So how do we help the teachers to manage time? Because if I say, okay, you need to, get this much of this many percentage of students getting passed in mathematics, but then if I don't look at the other needs of the teacher, then I'm not doing justice to that. So there has to be a balance in the allocation of times, allocation of roles, and also allocation of tasks. Only then you can overcome the challenge, because teachers will certainly resent. They will not like it. And they might do it because you are asking them to do it, and they will not do it happily or wholeheartedly. So time management is one important critical issue. We need to look at it very, very seriously.